The soft Tuesday sunlight, usually a gentle start to my day, felt almost cruel as it spilled into the bedroom, highlighting the ache that had settled deep within me. I woke up to that familiar weight in my stomach, an uneasy tightness that had clung to me for months. It wasn't just the pressure from work or the nagging sense that I'd missed something important. It was the way Jane had grown distant, her fingers constantly glued to her phone, her body stiffening at even the lightest touch, the small dishonest edges creeping into her voice. I kept telling myself it was nothing, just the natural shifts that come with a decade of marriage. People drift. Maybe this was just one of those phases. Over breakfast, we danced around each other like strangers, our routine polished with the wear of repetition and silence. She mentioned a new yoga studio opening downtown, her voice light but her eyes avoiding mine. I nodded, pretending to listen while stirring my coffee harder than necessary. Then the mail came, a routine shuffle of bills and promotional garbage, until I noticed a plain white envelope, no return address, my name scribbled hastily across the front. I reached for it, a strange mix of anxiety and suspicion swirling in my gut. Probably junk, Jane said, her tone too casual, her eyes still locked on her phone. Something in her voice, that forced nonchalance, made the hairs on my neck stand up. I opened the envelope slowly, methodically. Inside was a single photograph. Jane, her face soft and flushed, locked in a kiss with another man. Not a quick goodbye or a fleeting lapse, but something deep and unmistakably intimate. A kiss that said everything they hadn't dared to say aloud. My hands went numb. The photo trembled between my fingers before I lost grip of my coffee cup, letting it crash to the floor. Jane froze mid-sentence. Her expression drained of all color the moment she saw what I was holding. Junk mail, I said quietly, my voice sharp with disbelief. I held the picture up for her to see. She didn't deny it. Not convincingly. Her lips parted in a clumsy string of excuses that I couldn't even begin to process. All I could hear was the deafening roar of betrayal ringing in my ears. Who is he? I asked, struggling to keep my fury from boiling over. She hesitated, her eyes scanning the room like a cornered animal, before whispering a name. Daniel. It meant nothing to me. Just another stranger. But this one had slipped into my life through my wife. The fact that someone had photographed them, captured this betrayal, only poured gasoline on the fire building inside me. Get out. The words came low and cold. Not shouted, but carved from pain so raw that even I barely recognized my voice. She flinched, tears rising to her eyes. Please let me explain. I stared at her, the woman I'd shared a life with, and felt nothing but hollowness. You've said enough. Leave. Now before I say something I can't take back. She fumbled around the room, hastily throwing together a bag. I didn't move. I watched her leave, the door slamming shut behind her. And then silence. Crushing, suffocating silence. The days that followed were consumed by rage. Controlled at first, but it didn't stay that way. I needed answers. I needed to see the full extent of what they'd done. Using contacts I'd never needed to call him before, I found him, Daniel. A slick, young real estate agent. Clean-cut, confident. The kind of man Jane used to laugh about. I showed up at his office unannounced. He was sitting at his desk, scrolling through his phone, oblivious to what was coming. Daniel. He looked up, startled. His smile vanished when he saw my face. Before he could speak, I grabbed his shirt and yanked him forward, bringing us nose to nose. My fist connected with his jaw, sending him sprawling. His chair clattered to the floor. I was on him in seconds, fists raining down with a fury I hadn't known I possessed. He tried to shield himself, but it was useless. The office blurred around us. Papers flying, furniture knocked askew, while I let every ounce of anger pour out through my fists. Eventually I stepped back. He lay curled on the ground, face bloody, dazed. If you ever come near her again, I said, panting, my voice trembling with rage, I'll end it next time. He whimpered something, barely audible, hands clutching his face. I left him there. But I wasn't finished. I found out where he lived, a sleek apartment downtown. I waited. Hours. When he finally arrived, bruised and beaten, I greeted him with a smile. He fumbled for his phone. I knocked it from his hands, shattering it against the concrete. You ruined my life, I said, striking again. Blow after blow until he collapsed into a broken mess on the pavement. I didn't stop until I felt empty. And even then, I wasn't done. I turned my attention to Jane. I called her family, her friends, her coworkers. I told them everything. Every detail. Let them see who she really was. I didn't care about her image. I wanted her world to burn just like mine had. A week later, she showed up at my door. Tears streaked her face. She begged for forgiveness. Said she made a mistake. I didn't feel vindicated. Just numb. Go, I said. Don't come back. She stood there for a long moment before walking away. I didn't watch her leave. The weeks that followed were a mess of divorce paperwork and quiet, sleepless nights. There were no dramatic farewells, no hopeful reconciliations. Just silence. I never saw Jane again. I walked into the unknown alone, but free. The pain still lingered, but at least now I could breathe.